Now is a fallacy. Now is a fallacy. There's no such thing as now, no such thing as the present. Now, or the present, has become a much touted, discussed and practiced idea, but it is not true. It's not real. In a sense, it is immaterial what practice you adhere to in your spiritual discipline. This is, or should be, clear. The varied ways and means at our disposal today are clear evidence that no religion, yoga, or path has the monopoly or even a franchise on enlightenment. However, whether through mistranslation, misunderstanding, thoughtlessness, or intentional misleading, the present, or the now, is considered desirable to attain in spiritual practice. The cynic would point out that what is considered unattainable, attainable but secretly unattainable, is good business. My mother, for example, endured a lifetime subscription to an organization called Weight Watchers. Each month, she received the magazine with messages of hope, photos of desirable bodies contrasted with the undesirable ones. When I visited her at home, she would soon announce how much weight she'd lost. It was usually only a very small amount, but enough to encourage her to go on. My mother was always prone to overweight. She was also prone to self-disgust. I would have preferred that she learned to love herself, body, heart, mind, and soul, and then work with improvements from a sound basis of self-love and inner respect. She died from cancer in hospital, somewhat overweight, aged 89. Among the post my sister and I cleared from the hallway mat after her funeral was a new subscription invitation from the Weight Watchers. And this reminds me of a wiry, nervy old man who appeared in a residential course I was leading once. In our initial sharing, he described two highly distinguished careers, one military and the other spiritual. His meditation experience was extensive. It spanned 14 years in Theravadan and Mahayanan traditions, and it was eventful and extraordinary. He had sat in intensive retreats with monks all through the night. He'd fasted extensively. His walking meditation, Kinhin, was a model of patience to watch. He had attained the full lotus position. He could recite chants and scriptures by heart. His great seriousness belied the extraordinary spiritual encounters and anecdotes he would regale us with at dinner. But at the end of this initial sharing, he sat staring sullenly at the mat before him, and with his head bent forlornly, he said, "Never once have I had an enlightenment experience." The humility and the pathos of his admittance touches me today merely as memory. I remember him uttering the sad words, and although it's 25 years ago, it could be yesterday. So here we have two illustrations. Trying to lose weight and trying to become enlightened. The word that ties the two together, of course, is trying. I can surmise on losing weight, but I know a bit more about achieving enlightenment states And trying isn't how you do it. In fact, anything we say about it turns out to be irrelevant. Trying, you, do, it. No trying, because no effort is needed to come to where you already are. No you, because no individual self can themselves become enlightened. No do, because it's not an activity, so trying isn't required. And finally, no it, because it isn't objective. Neither is it subjective. In fact, there's no point of view whatsoever from which to describe enlightenment. There is no description of enlightenment. And yet, there is nothing other than enlightenment. Enlightenment is the real state and condition. Strictly speaking, it isn't a state or condition at all. But I am attempting to communicate. Moreover, I'm attempting to transmit something to you. And that something is beyond thought or concepts of any kind. And it is beyond space and beyond time. Since enlightenment does not exist in the past or the future, then, neither can it be in the present. Neither is it in the now. Now is a fallacy.